Evening, guys. I hope you're all doing okay today on Thursday evening. It feels like it's been a very long week with the snow and the cold weather. But I thought I'd just start talking really about December. A lot of you will have, if you have watched the videos, please do like and subscribe. It does help the video out a great deal. I also wanted to come on and talk to you about garden designing as well. In this video, as we're talking about December and the months are getting colder, you know, there's less jobs in the garden to do. This actually is a perfect time to start replanning what you're going to have in your garden this year for spring. So let's crack on with it, and I will see you all in a minute. Hi guys, so December, whatever else is going on in the garden this month, the things that we notice the most are the festive feel. You know, the Christmas trees. A lot of people go out and buy their own Christmas tree. I know a friend of mine that had bought a really small real one and then potted that on and pruned it and kept it in shape, and every year she's of this tree, she kept it. It's going a bit now, but I don't know if she's going to get it in the house this year. Sheila, if you are watching, don't know how you're actually going to get it in the house this year. I'm not going to lie to you. But, you know, a great source of the garden, of homegrown Christmas decorations, is in the garden. A lot of the shorts and the reels and the videos, if you have previously watched before, I have spoken to you about collecting the twigs, you know, the bits of holly, the twigs with the leaves on that have fallen off, you know, to create these autumn and winter Christmas decorations. Not just Christmas decorations, but bringing you into autumn and then taking you out of autumn and bringing you into the winter months ready for Christmas. So that is one thing that, you know, we will be talking about. In the olden days, guys, I think it was, I was looking it up today actually, I think it was the Edwardian era. The Christmas was the time when the gardeners would actually pull out all of the stops, so, you know, they would grab everything from outside, you know, they'd provide huge amounts of, you know, the outdoor staff weren't just responsible for keeping the kitchen provided with enormous quantities of luxury vegetables and out of season fruit. They also had the job of cutting huge Christmas trees from the estates, setting up the halls for the family to decorate and make huge displays of pot plants. So yeah, just a little fact for you. The general winter tasks that should really be getting done is, you know, is planning your garden out, how you really want it next year, raking your leaves over. Sorry guys, I'm just marking it out. I'll show you on another video how we're going to do this one. You know, raking off your leaves off your grass as much. Again, if it's weather like it is in the UK at the moment, I would advise, especially in Yorkshire, to stay off the grass just for the moment. It's very wet, it's very boggy, it's not the best, to be honest with you. So yeah, do try and stay off it. If the weather is allowing you to, which probably most of us know, it's past that season now. I'd suggest anywhere under 5 degrees wouldn't really be wise. Starting a lawn over now, I'd probably wait until the weather starts to warm up a little bit now before you start to do any more lawn work really. You know, flowers, you know, I would be starting to look in your baskets, you know, and seeing what you actually have in your containers. So for instance, 2 seconds guys. So in mine I have still some wildflowers, and in here, so I've kept separately in this bit what I sowed last year. So I've still got some, I liked that, that works really well last year, Candy Tuft Berry Mix. So, you know, I think I will write down this Candy Tuft. I think at the side of it I'll put a tick, because then I know that I will do that again next year. Some of these I might not fancy doing next year. Again, these ones here, these worked really well last year. So I will probably be doing these again. Quite a lot of these I actually did enjoy. Strawberries. Now another strawberries, you sow outdoors January to March. It's a low growing compact plant producing an abundance of small strawberries with a sweet delicious flavour. These plants reseed easily and do not throw out runners like others, so that's good that we're not going to have runners off these ones, which works in some ways, doesn't work in other ways. Sometimes it's good to have runners, but sometimes it's good to have a new plant so there's no disease spread from one to another. For best result, put your seeds in the freezer for 2 to 4 weeks before sowing. So really guys, we should be putting these in the freezer in a few weeks really. Gosh, just think guys, you know, we're almost in December now. This is saying 4 weeks, which means it'll be January. In just over 6 weeks, it'll be January. It's scary, isn't it, guys, to think? It really is. Sprinkle the seeds over the surface of the soil in pots of moist compost and press down. Store in warm place at approximately 15 to 20 degrees. Keep the soil moist and be careful not to overwater. Harvest the berries as soon as they ripen. I do have, my friend did drop off some of that netting. Again, these ones I did last year. A lot of people commented when they were walking through again, oh, how nice the back garden was actually. So I will probably be doing those again. So these are the scatter seeds that we did. I don't really think anything really worked out of these, but I think we might try again. It's got to be sowed by next year anyway, so we'll probably finish these seeds off next year, and then we'll have a look and see what else we've got in here. I do want to try and get some of these done this year. It'd be quite good if we could try and get some of these done. And again, these, don't know how, this is a full packet that got given to me. I don't know if any of these will work because it actually does say that they are a year out of date. So, but you know, we can always give them a try and see what happens, and write on the packet out of date and see if anything happens. Now, I want to be doing the petunias this year. So I'm going to write orchard mixed. petunias. I know in this collection somewhere, see, I want a cottage section down at the bottom. And I would also like, if I can find it, I've got some geraniums to do this year, which will be good. This lady left a lot of seeds behind. Some of them are actually out of date. So it'd be interesting to see whether any of these work. But this is the time where we will be going on to that website that I sent you over, that I showed you. And ordering a load of seeds off of there as well. The best that we can. But we do also, guys, have to remember that we do have seeds from the previous year that we have just trying to find what I was looking for that we have saved. There we go. So we've got a few different varieties of sweet peas this year. Again, we've got carrots to do, so we need to sort all these in February, so we do need to start getting things on the go. These look quite nice, these ones, I'm not gonna lie. They really do look quite nice. So again, these can be sown from January, February, and they'll start to sow outdoors March, April. Also sow indoor January, February, sow outdoor begin late end of March, April, and then sow indoors September and October. And then obviously aviolas as well. Honestly, guys, there's a whole combination of stuff. There's any left in here. And we've got some cress left for Mr. E to do as well. And a few stickers for him to add to his pots whilst he's doing it with me. Another combination of sweet peas. And sweet peas really do look nice, and white ones. They're quite nice to try. Really good. But yeah, so make sure that you do go through your seed collection and see what you have available. Again, check that it's in date, check what you need to update. Yeah, check again in the shed. I'm gonna write this down because I need to go into the shed. Your spring bulbs, yeah, but you know, check that your bulbs, yeah, aren't mouldy. You know, your daffodils, your crocuses, your snowdrops. Be checking all of them, and if they do need replacing, you know, make sure to put them on your list. So on my list so far, we've got stuff like this. You know, there isn't much at the moment that I can really start doing in the garden apart from starting to design, fixing a few bits. The roof and the shed has been fixed, so the next bit will be to fix the door. So yeah, there isn't really much in December. We will be going into the potting shed once it is sorted and trying to make something out of that, you know, for spring, so that we could still be undercover and still be able to have videos maybe from live from the potting shed. We'll see how it goes. Another one that I do need to try and sort out is the compost heap in the corner. I'm aware that the lid has fallen in and there is holes around it. I do need to get that covered at some point, but again, it's one of those where it's now December. These are tasks that, you know, I will try and continue to do as I go along, and try and, you know, that the corner space where we will be designing, and I'll probably do it in another video now. You know, I want easy access still to be able to get to that compost heap, so it'd have to be, you know, there is plans for that corner to have one of these. So this is a massive 8 grid rectangular plank grow bags. There's 8 of these now. I'm planning to have that further section, that smaller section, as much veg as I possibly could do in there, really. Not even just that, you know, the first year we don't have to fill up all the beds. You know, we could do, because we've still got the other bags as well. And we've still got the bags out that are outside. So, you know, I think this year we're going to move a few bits and bobs around. Raise some bits off the ground. Keep it as grass free as possible over in that section. Try block off as much as we possibly can to the gaps that are underneath the fence, but leave some free for animals. Also create an area for, again, hedgehog. I'll show you how to do that. And one more thing, it would be, you know, starting to think about leaving some bits and bobs, not next to a wall to create rats, not near, you know, anywhere, just in the middle of the lawn. I'm going to show you how to create the bird bath in the bottom of that corner. I'll probably do it at the side of that. Just a small little table or something, so that, you know, you can leave a few little scraps on for the birds, just to help them a little bit during these really cold months. Even if you're just creating a bird bath, enable them to have a drink, you know. You can live without food, but, you know, 3 days you can't really live without water. So, but yeah, we'll be doing a lot more design work on, sorry guys, seems to have come out of focus. We'll be doing a lot more design work again, guys. You know, like I said, decorating, you know, making the space accessible for what in my circumstance would be for me. Obviously I'm just starting to do the squares of how it would be. So I've got the box there, and then it would be this side. You've got to remember that the ramp also goes down that bit in the corner over there. You know, we'd have to take into considering the space of how big that would be, and where the end of the shed is and the compost heap, and also where, you know, the guttering is, where you're going to have that guttering coming off that shed, because at the moment there's a bucket there that's collecting the water. So could you add another water butt coming off that guttering, going down at the bottom near the door of the shed, and add something to shield that off? You've already got the fuchsia there, so if you could trail that fuchsia coming diagonally instead of upwards and trail it this way, could you then block out that water butt from the kitchen window? Could you, you know, if you redesigned that back wall completely, could I then hide the compost heap and the water bin? Now I'm just having a look at the window and seeing, I just don't know if it would be big enough really, because we still want to be able to access the front of that compost heap. And if you had a water butt in the middle bit, you won't really be able to get there. So you'd want to kind of, and if you had it at the end, would it work at the end? It would still be in plain sight from the window, from the house here. So you kind of, you kind of want, I'm just doing a quick rough sketch of how it would look. It's back to front to you on this. So that's obviously the kitchen window, the door, the ramp. It's all back to front to you lot, because that's the shed door. It should really be the other way around. And that's the bit that we're talking about. So then obviously in this corner we know that we've already got a plant pot in that corner, but there's nothing in it. We've got a lot of brambles and another plant pot near the door. It kind of needs to come out a little bit, that. So then all of this bit up to here at the moment is grass. That bit that I've just coloured in is grass at the moment. So what we want to be doing is, we know that we've already got plant pots in that corner going along that way. Do we keep them there and add that 8 block into the middle of it, or towards the end where the path is, or do we completely take the rest of those plant pots away, move them to the other side and have more flowers available, which we could still have a few. We'd have to see if we could have, obviously if we put this in to here, that's 4, 6, 8. So I've added it in to the middle there, but depending on what size it is, we would have to go out and measure that actually. And the table and chairs would have to probably be on the other side, or I think what I'd probably do is move the table and chairs towards the bottom, especially when the kids are out playing. Or I might even move the table and chair somewhere else actually. That is a point. No, I think I might move them to the bottom where the gate is, because all that's going to be cleared away anyway. Yes, I'd probably move that to the end. Move the table and chairs down here away from the. So for now I'm just going to put 3 circles there for where I'd have the table and chairs, and obviously up here is the path. So I like the path. And then obviously we've got the gate. And then obviously we've got Mr. E's side on the other side. And with the border as well, which we'd have to concentrate on again at some point, because it needs filling a lot more flowers this year than what it did last year really. But you know, again, one thing that I do want to try and do, I want to try and leave as many leaves in the borders as I possibly can do, just so that it helps any insects that are in there, you know, hibernate, and hedgehogs, and it'll also turn to compost itself anyway, so there's no point really taking leaves out of that really for it to be able to create weeds. So yeah, I might as well just leave it for now. Just got a new cup of tea, guys. So another thing that we really could be doing now that it's coming up to winter, December, is Christmas. Yeah, a lot of people will be coming to mine over Christmas, so I'll be making sure that like any lambs here or anything that I can find in a lot of garden centres now will be selling little plants off to fill in little gaps, you know, a lot of heathers, a lot of basket plants, you know, a lot of rebellias, you know, dogwoods, anything that you can really find. High emphasis, again, a new one a lot of people are really doing this year is what's it called, orchids. A lot of people are buying orchids now as their Christmas ornaments. So I know it's your choice what you find good for you, you know, that it's your taste at the end of the day. I'm trying to think what else. Cactuses, you know, is another good one. So guys, I'm just trying to get the lighting started. I feel I've got a shadow on me there. But I'm trying to think what else. I've talked to you about bulbs, freezing ponds. I did put a video out this morning about whacking the ice and making sure that there is something in the colder months when there's a risk of ice forming for more than a few days at a time, you know, put a ball in there, put something that will float, rubber ball, one of them, you know, little balls that I put in the ball pool balls, something that will float on the surface, so you know the ice can't form, you can lift it out and leave and make breathable holes. You know, so the birds can still, nature can still get drinks, can still, you know, it can, you know, if one rule that I would say that when you saw me hitting that ice today, there was no fish in there. I wouldn't suggest you do that if it's a pond full of fish. I wouldn't suggest, but that's for a bird bath. So yeah, it's fine to whack that. You know, if it had fish in it, I would definitely suggest not to. I'd suggest you going and getting a football or something, a rubber ball to put in your pond. But yeah, again, we will be coming back to the potting shed. I'll probably do a quick video on the potting shed of what she left, and not it's really been done to it really, to be honest with you, it's quite a mess. But guys, I will leave this for now. I'll say cheers. Please like and subscribe, or even just like, you know, I thank you for watching the video. As much as you've watched, you don't even have to watch it all, but it really does help the algorithm if you like, and it reaches out to people as well. I did say in a previous video that I would be deciding tonight whether I stick to shorts or whether I do another video after this, so we'll all see on the views. So I hope to see you again soon, and if not, I'll see you in shorts. Bye. Thank you.